to bring in Republican Congressman Pete Sessions of Texas right now. He's a key member of the Financial Services Committee. Congressman, thanks so much for coming in. Appreciate it very much. First of all, do you think, and there's several subjects we want to go through with you, but do you think the president should fire the chair of the Federal Reserve?
Well, if I think the president's trying to influence the chairman off what he believes are vast instances of how the economy is doing well. You just heard on this show that retail sales are up. You have heard that the economy is adding jobs that is the goal of this administration. I think that it's, to me, a matter of politicians, members of Congress, the president, live off the American dream. Chairman Powell lives off the economy, ups and downs, and preparing us for tomorrow. And I think the president's message is that he believes that first-time home buyers and people who are taking loans are paying more than what they need to, which is inhibiting further growth. Now, second point, you had to have been around Washington. Jay Powell and the Fed listened very carefully under the influence of the Biden administration and took out loans for $3.2 trillion. They took out loans that caused interest rates to rise dramatically with government loans that were taken on. That was influence of an administration, and perhaps Jay Powell saw the need because of COVID or other matters. I think that Jay Powell is flexible enough, and I think the president has facts on his side. I think that they could find a way to accommodate each other. I think that they should come down. I think they're too high, but this is their job, not us.
You know, one of your fellow Republicans, Senator John Kennedy of Louisiana, I assume you know him, he's predicting economic catastrophe if the president fires Powell. I want you to listen to what the senator said. Listen to this.
If you fire the chairman of the Federal Reserve, you will see the stock market crash, and you will see the bond market crash.
Are you concerned about what he's predicting if he were to fire Chairman Powell?
I am, but I've suggested there's a compromise there. There's a compromise for the Fed to look at several months' worth of data and to bring down those numbers, and that is what the president wants. We want our economy to be built around the strength of the Fed, good common sense practices. But I'm simply saying the way a conservative Republican looks at it is the Biden administration had great latitude with the Fed. We would like that same latitude, even if it's short term. You see, this is on Donald Trump's scorecard,
we'll see what
and
he does.
He knows that.
I want to turn to the fallout over the Jeffrey Epstein files. President Trump is attacking your Republicans, a lot of your fellow Republicans who are upset by his administration's handling of all of this, calling them stupid and foolish, his words, stupid and foolish, even saying he doesn't want their support anymore, his words again. What do you make of the president going after his own Republican supporters?
Well, for several months during the campaign, Republicans did believe and still do believe that the evidence should be brought forward. The actual evidence, names, yes. The events, yes. There are thousands of hours of videos that are maintained by the Department of Justice. I believe it is entirely up to, right now, not the FBI, but rather Pam Bondi, who people do believe, and I have great confidence in her also. She needs to give, unless she already has, a final statement about the disposition of that data and information. It's hard to think that all of a sudden it does not, that someone could not put together a full list of all this and chronologically and put it in order from the thousands of hours of tapes. Pam Bondi needs to be the closer on this. I trust her, and I would hope and think that she would be the final answer.
This week, there was some new polling coming in on CNN that showed just what 37% of Americans say Trump is concentrating on the right issues right now. That's down 6 points from March. Do you think the president needs to redirect his focus to the issues he ran on and away from things like the Epstein files?
Well, let's just face it here. The president has his hand in every single bit of government that's running right now. He not only has an idea, but he has an influence. And I believe it is time for our secretaries to begin doing their jobs in a more judicious way. But we also need the Senate, Senator Schumer, to approve all of these assistant secretaries so that the government can be up and working. Transportation is one of the key areas that we have, and other areas the Senate needs to move on with their job instead of being obstructionists. It is difficult for a secretary to get the advice they need and to run the way that they would want. And I will tell you, as chairman of government oversight for government operations and federal workforce, our federal workforce is still not back at work. But that requires more than just a secretary or a president's directive. And I believe that for the government to work effectively, Senator Schumer needs to give them that leverage and opportunity.
Congressman Sessions, Pamela Brown, my co-anchor, is here. She has a question for you. She's just back from your state of Texas.
Yes,
did excellent reporting
and
there.
has been to our camps.
She did amazing reporting while she was there.
I went to 2 of the camps there in Hill Country impacted by that devastating flooding. So I wanted to ask you, as you mentioned you were chairman of the House Subcommittee on Government Operations, there has been plenty of scrutiny, right, on the emergency management and what could have been done differently to save lives. And I'm wondering if you've learned anything else about what actions officials did or did not take in those critical overnight hours when waters were rapidly rising.
Pamela, in fact, these are good questions and questions that will be answered. The state of Texas has taken under Lieutenant Governor Patrick the ability where they are going to start next Monday these hearings where they will call people who are not federal employees, they're state and local employees, to make these determinations. We must understand that whether it's FEMA or whether it's a state or local government, these things are going to keep occurring. We need to be prepared, and it is no longer okay not to be sound with a plan and an understanding, in particular where children are involved. But these occurrences will happen again, and we need to be prepared. I think that the state of Texas has the authority and the responsibility and the means by which to make sure this is better. I expect them to do that. I am watching it. The Lieutenant Governor has told me that he wants to work with us when it is part of the federal nexus.
All right.
Excellent point, and thanks very much for coming in.
Thank you, Congressman. We appreciate it.